Hey guys, Sleepy Reader here. Just wanted to share with you two comics that I enjoyed a lot this week that really surprised me. One was FF number 3, FF by Michael Allred and Matt Fraction, and the other was Deadpool Illustrated, Moby Dick, by Colin Bunn and someone Lolly. And I really wasn't expecting much from Deadpool Illustrated. The cover looked fun. I kind of have this weird affection for Moby Dick. I once listened to an audiobook version of it, and it was just hilariously funny. And so I picked this up, and I started reading it, and it was not only a lot of fun, but there was just something kind of satisfying about it. It was just the right amount of silliness and of plot, and not too much of either, or not too much of plot, and the right amount of the silly violence. Maybe the other Deadpool series has too much in the way of ropey guts all over the place for me. So I liked this. It had a little more of an old-fashioned feel to it. And not only did I enjoy Deadpool going around killing characters from literature, which is kind of like, comic books' revenge on boring English classes, but I actually enjoyed the kind of simple plot that leads up to things, and the way Deadpool uses kind of a think tank of supervillains to help him with his work and that stuff. And so, yeah, it was funny and light, and I just enjoyed it. The funny thing is, I think that even though part of the fantasy is the writers are playing to is, violent, stupid superhero kills off the great things of literature and revenge on the English teacher, but there's a certain amount of pleasure they take out of presenting those characters from literature. And I think they know a little bit about literature in a broader sense, because the first character we go and kill is Don Quixote, and Don Quixote is often cited as the very first novel in European literature. I believe the Japanese or the Chinese did the novel before we did, but in the European tradition, Don Quixote's the first. So it's very suiting that he starts out with Don Quixote and then moves on to Moby Dick. And so the one flaw that some people have noted is they don't necessarily say who all the literary characters are they're killing, and it would have been easy enough to just mention the name Don Quixote in here somewhere. And the same with the appearance of Pinocchio. So Pinocchio, the wooden doll who wanted to be human, in the early pre-Disney versions was always swallowed up by a giant whale or fish. In the kids' book version I had, it was a giant shark. It was very scary looking. So Deadpool's met this stupid wooden character in the bowels of Moby Dick. So it turns out Moby Dick's the one who swallowed him up. So that's kind of a clever connection there. And Deadpool, of course, kills him and is reminded of the Vision, who's kind of like a little wooden character who wishes he was a boy. So I thought that was clever, combining and linking of different literary things. So all in all, it was very enjoyable. And next month, I believe we move on to Sherlock Holmes, although on the cover is also Huckleberry Finn. I like the way they're moving very fast through all of this stuff. So we killed off 3 literary characters in this issue, and probably at least 2, if not more, in the next one. It looks like they're killing off Tom Sawyer, not Huckleberry Finn. Oh, I feel better. I like Huckleberry Finn more. Killing off Tom Sawyer doesn't really bother me. Anyway, this was just surprisingly fun. It just had just the right touch. Decent art that kind of harkened back to the Bronze Age of Marvel Comics and worked well. I love the cover art too. It would have been cool to have a whole comic done that way. But in any case, either way, it was good. I had picked up Matt Fraction's first issue of Fantastic Four and really hated it. Everything about the way he approached the characters and his attitude towards things, Fantastic Four things, just bothered me. So I decided I wouldn't read anymore. But then this cover really grabbed me, and I'd heard people saying better things about FF and the Mike Allred art, so I couldn't resist. I thought I'd try it, and it turned out to be, especially art-wise, one of my favorite comics all month. It's got that simple Michael Allred art, but it seems just right in this issue. Everything is just really appealing. The coloring is really, really good. I like the bright colors, and I like the way there really is subtlety in the bright colors. There's just tons of really cool scenes visually. And given that it doesn't really deal with the Fantastic Four themselves, I'm finding Allred's characterization to be okay here. I like his characterization of some of the kids, and of Ant-Man, and of this girl who's going to be the she thing or something like that. And there's just these marvelous scenes. There's this great scene where Wyatt Wingfoot checks out Johnny Storm and says it's really him. Although you would think Medusa knows Johnny Storm very well too, but she doesn't seem at all able to identify him. But there's so many moments of just wonderful comic book art. I really loved it. So then I foolishly thought, well, that means I probably would love the first two issues, which I missed. So I picked them up, FF number 2 and FF number 1, and no, I didn't really like them that much. The art doesn't seem quite as spot on. The story seems kind of boring. So I don't know if the FF is suddenly kicking into gear with this issue, and that Fraction and Allred will continue to do this fantastic job, or if it's just sort of one issue where everything clicked, and whether it'll go back to being sort of this Fraction version of the Fantastic Four and the Fantastic Four world that I can't enjoy. But, just for itself, I highly recommend that issue. I'll talk to you all later. Bye-bye.